Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here, and today I'm here with the brand new iLoud MTM Studio Reference Monitors. Now, I also have the original iLoud MicroMonitors down here right next to it so we can compare the two. Now, when the MicroMonitors came out, they just blew the world away with their sound. For something out of such a small cabinet, it was producing such humongous results that we wouldn't think is possible from something that small. So, when they blew the world away with this, imagine what these new ones sound like. And we're going to explore that in a couple of minutes. But first, let's start out with the micromonitors. We're just going to play something simple here. And we're going to do the same thing with the new MTM monitors. All right, let's go back to the micromonitors and the MTMs. Okay, we're going to test it out with a whole bunch of other stuff, but before we do that, let's talk about this for a while. Now, we're going to compare the two. First of all, the micromonitors were $299 for the pair. The pair, you get two of them. The MTMs are $350 each, so you're talking $700 for the pair. That's a big difference. Now, the power on these is 25 watts RMS per speaker for a total of 50 watts for both. On the MTMs, they're 100 watts each, so you've got 200 watts RMS for the pair. Now, as far as the drivers that are in here, or the speakers, the tweeter size on these, 3/4 of an inch silk dome tweeter, whereas on the MTMs it's 1 inch silk dome tweeter. The woofers are 3 inches on the micromonitors and 3.5 inches on the MTMs. And the frequency response, depending on how you take the measurements, can go down to 45, as low as 45 hertz on the micromonitors and as low as 40 hertz on the MTMs. And the size, I mean, it's like 7 by 5 by 3.5 on the micromonitors and about 10.4 by 6.3 by 5.1, something like that, inches. Now the weight, the combined weight of the micromonitors is like 60 ounces, which is less than 4 pounds. And the weight on the MTMs is 5.5 pounds each. So, a little bit of a difference there. Now, what's nice about the micromonitors is it also has Bluetooth. So if you have Bluetooth, you can transmit to these, and that's a pretty cool thing to have, especially at parties and things like that, even though they're studio monitors, they're not meant for parties. The MTMs don't have Bluetooth, but it's more of a pro reference monitor, studio monitor, even though they're both reference or studio monitors. So as far as inputs on the micromonitors, like I just mentioned, Bluetooth has an 1/8 inch stereo TRS jack so that you can plug an MP3 player, your smartphone, or anything like that into that. It also has RCA left and right inputs. The MTMs are a little bit more professional, so their inputs, it's basically a combination jack. It's a combo jack of 1/4 inch or XLR. And the 1/4 inch can be balanced or unbalanced, it doesn't matter. In other words, TS or TRS. If you don't know the difference, then it's not going to matter to you anyway. And the really cool thing about the MTMs is this comes with a ARC microphone. That's ARC. It's an acronym. It means automatic room calibration. This is not a regular microphone. It is used to analyze your room with. So basically it comes with this and an XLR cable at one end and a 1/8 inch TS plug at the other end. And this, I mean, this is like 9 feet long, but This plugs into the 1/8 inch arc microphone input on the back, and there's a button there that you hold down to start the calibration process. It's going to make some weird noises for a few seconds, and about a half a minute later your speaker is calibrated to your room. And it also comes with a mic clip, so you can put this on a mic stand, make it easier to calibrate with, because you're going to put this mic somewhere near where your ear is going to be. And you're going to do that on each speaker. And as a bonus, when you're done calibrating your speakers, you've got this cable, which is XLR female here and 1/8 inch male here. So what you could do is use this for, let's say, a DSLR camera, and you know how bad the sound is on those. So you can have a professional mic now going into your DSLR camera. Some of them will take line inputs, some of them will take mic inputs, and if it does, you're all set. Otherwise, you may need some kind of a booster on that, but you'll want to check with your DSLR camera specs. Okay, so let's go through the back panel so that we can see what the differences are between the two and see what each one is capable of in terms of settings. Okay, looking at the back panel of the MicroMonitors. You've got your Bluetooth button so that you can set it up for Bluetooth. You've got an EQ section where you can set it up for flat or desk, depending on where you have these. It has a high frequency and a low frequency cut of -3 dB. You've got a jack to connect it to the right speaker. In other words, all the guts are in the left speaker on the MicroMonitors. And you have a cable that it comes with that will go ahead and hook it up to the right speaker, and it is a proprietary cable and it has a limited length, so that might be a little bit of a negative, but usually you're sitting at a desk and that's going to be fine. Then it has your DC input for power. You've got the volume knob, and like I mentioned, you've got the 1/8 inch TRS stereo jack input and the left and right RCA input jacks, and then the power switch. Now going through the MTM, you've got 5 buttons here. You've got the low frequency extension, 60, 50, or 40 hertz, low frequency boost or cut. You can boost it by up to 2 decibels or cut it by 3 decibels, or you can just have it flat. High frequency, got 2 decibel increase or a 2 decibel decrease, or you can have that flat. And the calibration and preset, for the presets you have desk and flat, and if you hold it down you get to calibrate it with that special microphone I was talking about. Sensitivity, that's an important one. You've got +4 dB and -10 dB. So when I actually unboxed these, I hooked it up and I didn't pay attention to anything on the back. I just wanted to make sure it worked, and then I was really surprised. I cranked it up full volume and I could barely understand why they're saying it's 100 watts. It sounded like something that's barely 5 watts. Well, anyway, that sensitivity thing on the back, I had it set for 4 dB, and the moment I switched it over to -10 dB, that's when it acted more like what I was expecting it to act like. So when you get these and you unbox these, don't think something's wrong with it and pack it back up and ready to send it back, because it's that sensitivity button on the back. You want to make sure it's set for -10 dB. If you don't feel it's acting like a normal speaker, it should be a lot louder. All right, then you've got the volume knob, and you've got the combo input, like I was saying, 1/4 inch TRS balanced or TS unbalanced, or XLR. And then you have a USB-B jack, and that's for service use only, like for updates, and I'll come back to that in a second. Then you have the AC power input and the on-off switch. Getting back to that USB, again, that's not going to be for anything that you can do except to update maybe the firmware or something like that. And The whole reason that's there is because the way these speakers operate, these MTM speakers, is they convert your signal that you feed into this, your analog signal, into digital. And then it processes your signals digitally and then converts it back to analog and drives your drivers with it. So when they have it as digital, they can do a lot of things with it. And one more thing, MTM actually is the name of a particular speaker design, and it stands for midwoofer, tweeter, and midwoofer. And you'll see a tweeter in the middle and the two midwoofers above and below it. And I explain more of how that whole design works in another video where I compare these to the PreSonus E66s. So I highly suggest you watch that video. It's very educational and informative about the actual MTM design and how it works and how it differs from the traditional and the benefits of that. So now, for what you've been waiting for, all right, let's try a harpsichord, and let's start with the MicroMonitors. And again with the MTMs. Now let's go into the rhythm section. We're going to start with the MicroMonitors, and this is called a funk shuffle. And let's give this a shot. Let's see what that sounds like on the MicroMonitors. Now the MTMs. MicroMonitors. MTMs. Okay, let's give something else a shot over here. This is hip hop. We'll start that out with the MicroMonitors. MTMs. Quite a difference, don't you think? And you can see how extraordinary these are. I mean, these little iLoud MicroMonitors sound like something twice their size or even bigger. And the MTMs sound like something with like an 8-inch driver instead of the two little 3.5 inches. And that's part of the MTM design. If you watch that other video that I referenced, it'll explain why it sounds so much bigger when you have two midwoofers together in the particular MTM design. If you don't have it in that particular spec, it's not going to sound like that. So anyway, let's try a couple of other things. That was hip hop. And let's try, here's one called Shuffle. We'll start with the MicroMonitors. Now the MTMs. And also, because of the MTM design, you've got stereo separation that excels the typical two-driver design with tweeter and woofer. All right, that was Shuffle. Let's try something else here. We have a funky beat. Let's try that with the MicroMonitors. MTMs. All right. I mean, these things sound so much larger than they really are. They are so impressive, and you can't go wrong mixing with the MTMs. And if you're on a budget, you can't go wrong with mixing on the MicroMonitors. Here's one called Funk, and let's do that with the MicroMonitors first. Now the MTMs. All right, cool. And let's try one more. This is Jazz Funk, and we'll start with the MicroMonitors. And now the MTMs. Cool. Let's put this back on MicroMonitors, and I would play you some nice popular songs that you're already familiar with, but because of copyright issues and YouTube, I'll have to play you something else. So let me play you some stuff that I wrote, but it's going to be good to test this with. So let's start out with something called Tranquility, and we're starting out with the MicroMonitors. MTMs. MicroMonitors. MTMs. Cool. Let's do the same, and rather than calling out MicroMonitors and MTMs, I'm just going to point when I switch. So watch the screen, and we're going to go to something else that I did. Let's start with something called Sparkle. Now, even though they're both great, it almost sounds like the sounds are a little muffled with the MicroMonitors, and when we switch over to the MTMs, it sounds like all of a sudden it's been given life and it opens up. So let's try another one. Here's one where we can try some heavy bass with. So let's go with the MicroMonitors. Okay, so we're going to try one last thing over here. This one is called Jazzmatazz. Okay, now, starting out with the MicroMonitors. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the tests on the sound, at least for this video. It would be really cool if maybe you could provide some input over in the comments to say which one you thought was better to you and why. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to mention. They're both ported for bass, but the ports on the MicroMonitors are in the front, whereas the ports on the MTM monitors are in the rear. So that's why they have that bass cut and that frequency, the low frequency extension, 40, 50, 60 hertz. They have that so that you can actually cut the bass, because these produce a lot of bass, but physics says the closer you have these to a wall, the more bass you're going to get. And that's true with any speaker that you have. You can go ahead and try that and you'll see. The closer to the wall, the more bass. So anyway, I hope this video has been informative to you. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.